Hello Portugal. Hi Malta. My name is David and I welcome you to this show. We're here to take a quick look at the latest news from Portugal and keep in touch with our beloved country. On the agenda, strikes announced at Portuguese airports this summer. Portugal is lowering its taxes. Abandoned for 20 years, the Portuguese Disney castle is rising from its ashes. A documentary traces the journey of the best Portuguese tennis player. Portugal is making efforts to protect one of Europe's most endangered birds. Let's go, roll the intro. Spread the word. Workers at Portuguese airports are likely to go on strike this summer. More specifically, we're talking about employees of SPDH Menzies, the ground handling operator at Portuguese airports. They handle aircraft operations, loading, and passenger services. The union has issued a strike notice for 5 weekends in July and August. The first period starts this Friday, July 25th, and will end on Monday, the 28th. In August, 4 weekends are targeted, from the 8th to the 11th, the 15th to the 18th, the 22nd to the 25th, and from the 29th to September 1st. So, what's behind this discontent? The union is demanding an end to base pay below the minimum wage, salary increases, payment for night shifts, and continued access to parking for workers. If you have friends or family going to Portugal this summer, don't hesitate to pass the info along to them. Taxes are going down in Portugal. Yes, you heard that right, and we're going to take a closer look at it. First, it's important to remember that, like in other countries, taxes in Portugal are progressive. They're divided into 9 brackets based on the taxpayer's income. From the first to the third level, taxes are dropping by 0.5 percentage points. From the 4th to the 6th bracket, it goes down by 0.6 percentage points. For the 7th and 8th brackets, it drops by 0.4 points, and the 9th bracket for annual incomes over €83,000 remains unchanged. According to simulations released by the government, workers' net salaries should increase by an average of €2 to €15. Let me know in the comments if you think that's already good. That being said, it's not over yet. In 2026, there will be a further reduction of 0.3 percentage points from the 2nd to the 5th income bracket. Of course, this creates a shortfall for the Portuguese state. The COSAP article mentions €611 million. To be thorough, let's look at the tax rates in France and Belgium to have some examples and comparisons. You can see that there are far fewer income brackets than in Portugal. So, the tax is less progressive than in the rectangle. And to fine-tune the comparison, let's not forget VAT, the value-added tax. We tend to forget about it, but every time we buy something in a store, that's money we're giving to the state. There are exceptions depending on the product, of course, but overall, the standard VAT is 20% in France, 21% in Belgium, and in Portugal, it's 23%. One last thing. You might be wondering who voted for or against this new measure, this tax cut in Portugal. Let's take a look at that. First, let me remind you that Luis Montenegro's government is a minority. It doesn't have a majority. So, his coalition of the Social Democrats from the PSD and the Conservatives from the CDS reached an agreement with other parties to get the measure passed. In the end, those who voted in favour were, of course, the PSD and the CDS, as well as Chega and the Liberal Initiative. Among those who abstained were the Socialist Party and Together for the People, the JPP. Finally, those who voted against the tax cut were the Leave Party, the Portuguese Communist Party, and the Left Bloc. €24 million, that's the price for the Portuguese Disney Palace, officially known as the Quinta da Felicidade, a vast estate located in Sintra, near Lisbon. After years of abandonment, it is now up for sale. Its story is that of a strange dream turned nightmare. It all began in the 1980s. Entrepreneur Carlos Maia Nogueira one of the pioneers of computing in Portugal, bought the nearly 9,000 square metre plot of land. That's him you see in the picture. Then he got a funny idea to build a life-sized dollhouse for his daughter. His inspiration? Disney, of course, except that when it comes to rules, he couldn't care less. He had the house that was on the land demolished without any authorization. He then spent millions to build the new residence, still without any permits, right in the middle of a protected area. Carlos Nogueira spared no expense. A ballroom, 3 outdoor pools, a heated indoor pool, huge marble columns, 19 bedrooms, a bunker. He even claims to have contacted Disneyland Paris. According to him, the park sent him the plans to help build his castle. According to a Seek report, the owner received several demolition orders between 1995 and 1998. An administrative battle then prevented these orders from being carried out. But it doesn't matter. Carlos Nogueira not only lives on his property, but he also rents it out to his own company and to other businesses for corporate events. But in the 2000s, the tide turns. Business isn't going as well, debts are piling up, and the huge mansion is extremely expensive to maintain. In 2008, the axe falls. Carlos Nogueira's company goes bankrupt. The property is then left at the mercy of visitors, squatters, vandals, and partygoers, as these images show. Banks then repossess the mortgage rights to the property, and over the years, its value drops to just €1.5 million. Apparently, it has finally found a buyer, a new owner, and a major renovation project was recently launched. Here is the result. Today, the property is back on the market on the Idealista website. Price, €24 million. It is one of the most endangered birds in Europe. Well, Portugal is joining an international project to protect it. Let's see why this is important. So, we're talking about the aquatic warbler. It's a pretty incredible bird. It weighs less than 14 grams, but travels thousands of kilometers to leave Europe and spend the winter in West Africa. And in fact, Portugal is right on its route. During its journey, this songbird needs wetlands. It uses them like pit stops to rest and drink. But these places are often threatened by drainage, pollution, certain farming practices, and of course, climate change. This article from Public explains that in Portugal, the bird can be spotted during its journey along the coast, near Aveiro or Coimbra, for example. The Life Awam project therefore aims to restore and preserve the songbird's habitats. It also aims to monitor the population, provide training, and support public policies. In sports, he is the first Portuguese tennis player to have won an ATP tournament. We're talking about João Sousa, and a documentary about his career has just been released. It reveals the behind-the-scenes of the player's very last match in 2024. Through several testimonies, it also presents the athlete's journey who, as a bowler explains, is also the first Portuguese to have entered the world top 100. And he did that for 10 years. To quote João Sousa, "I hope people will understand the difficulty that lies behind the success of a top-level tennis player. There are a lot of sacrifices, a lot of pain, a lot of tears, and this documentary shows all the sacrifice behind my success." The 15-minute documentary is available on HBO Max and on BetClick's YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description, on YouTube and in the podcast. Before I let you go, here's the agenda. A medieval market is underway until July 27th, and it has chosen its location well. It's in Óbidos. For the occasion, a show retraces the forbidden love between Prince Pedro and Inés de Castro. Are you jazz lovers? Well then, head to Coimbra. The Coimbra Jazz Arts Festival is taking place there until August 30th. An event where music and visual arts come together to celebrate the magic of human, artistic, and cultural encounters. That's how the festival itself is described. Thank you very much for listening. It was a pleasure to be with you again. If you want even more, well, subscribe and share the show. This supports my work and motivates me to go even further. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to send me an email using the address in the description. That's all from me. See you next time.